Welcome to all for C Learning, session 48. In previous session, we learned how to prepare alcohols and particularly when we are using complex metal hydrides, which type of products we are going to get, like IIDJA advanced pattern, which type of questions they are going to ask, and in general what we are going to think means which product we are going to expect, and when it comes to reality what product we are going to get. So this one we learned in previous session. In this session we are going to learn physical properties of alcohols, and up to 11 carbon atoms alcohols which consists up to 11 carbon atoms are colorless liquids, whereas higher ones means from 12 carbon onwards they are all existing as wax like solids. Up to 11 carbon atoms they exist as liquids which are colorless, and from 12th carbon onwards these are existing as wax like solids. Lower members have characteristic smell of alcohol with burning taste. Alcohols do not have pungent smell. Alcohols, basically ethyl alcohol, it has a sweet smell. It do not have any pungent smell. So they are having their own characteristic smell, and but the taste, burning taste. So lower members have characteristic smell and burning taste. These are toxic. Alcohols are toxic. So toxicity of methyl alcohol is greater than ethyl alcohol. Generally people consuming alcohol, that is ethyl alcohol, and methyl alcohol are not supposed to consume. In order to prevent consumption of ethyl alcohol, in general in our laboratories ethyl alcohol is going to mix with methyl alcohol, because when we mix methyl alcohol to ethyl alcohol, nothing but we make that alcohol unfit for drinking. That's what we call denatured alcohol. So because of a person consumes methyl alcohol, because of its high toxic nature, that person may die. So toxicity of methyl alcohol is much higher than ethyl alcohol. Hence methyl alcohol in general we are adding to ethyl alcohol to make unfit for drinking. Means that one will be used for only laboratory purposes. And alcohols are neutral. Means these are neither acidic nor basic. These are neither acids nor bases. We do not say acidic basic, of course. They are not acids, they are not bases. They are neutral towards litmus. Neutral towards litmus. We will discuss what nature they have in chemical properties. Okay, these are neutral towards litmus, and lighter than water. Fine. So shall we say all alcohols? No, again depending upon molecular weight. Now let us check solubility. Alcohols they can miscible with both polar solvents like water and also non-polar solvents or organic solvents like ethers. Because of alcohols are having general formula ROH. So this R group is nothing but a hydrophobic group, and this OH group is nothing but a hydrophilic group. Since alcohols are having both hydrophobic and hydrophilic both ends, hence these compounds means alcohols are soluble in both water and also in non-polar solvent like ethers. Now for solubility in water, which forces are responsible? If you observe here, OH bond, this OH bond is a polar bond. Being polar, hydrogen always acquires partial positive charge, oxygen acquires partial negative charge. So this one base positive charge hence this center what we called a nucleophilic center. And this oxygen bears negative charge, that center what we called electrophilic center, means any electrophile may come and attack upon this oxygen, any nucleophile may come and attack upon this hydrogen, right? But nucleophile is not supposed to prefer to abstract proton, okay? Means a nucleophile means here what I mean, which possess negative charge. So any negatively charged species, it may come and attack upon this hydrogen, any positively charged species, it may come and attack upon this oxygen. And not only this OH bond, this OR bond also polar bond. Again oxygen bears partial negative charge, alkyl group bears partial positive charge. Alkyl group bears partial positive charge. Means this one again nucleophilic center. Means any negatively charged species may come and attack upon this carbon, alkyl group carbon. So it is very clear alcohols are polar. Alcohols are polar. Because of dipole moment. What force here? Dipole moment. The bond moment is towards oxygen in between OH bond, in between that OH bond, the bond which exists in between oxygen and hydrogen, that bond moment will towards oxygen, and the bond in between oxygen and carbon, that bond also bond moment towards oxygen. That's why ultimately oxygen acquires more partial negative charge and hydrogen and this alkyl carbon bears partial positive charge. So it is very clear alcohols has dipole-dipole interactions. Alcohols have dipole-dipole interactions. Dipole-dipole interactions are there because of bond moment is there, dipole moment is there, right? So polarity is there, that's why in between two alcohols dipole-dipole interactions can exist. Dipole-dipole interactions can exist. Now in water also HOH, here also hydrogen bears positive charge, oxygen bears negative charge. That means here also dipoles are there. Means when alcohol mixed with water, dipole, because of alcohols consist dipole-dipole interactions and water also consists dipole-dipole interactions. That's why in between alcohol and water dipole-dipole interactions exist. Point to be noted. In addition to that, alcohols also participates in intermolecular hydrogen bonding with water. Intermolecular hydrogen bonding with water. So here hydrogen bond strength is more than dipole-dipole interactions. Dipole-dipole interactions strength is more than van der Waals forces or London forces. So here basically strong bond is hydrogen bond, and next one dipole-dipole interaction, next one van der Waals forces. So in between any two molecules van der Waals forces exist, in between here also van der Waals forces exist, and obviously dipole-dipole interactions also there, and hydrogen bonding also there. Means here all types of forces exist in between water and alcohol. That's why alcohols are miscible with water in all proportions. 20% alcohol, 80% water, it is miscible. 80% alcohol, 20% water, it's also miscible. In all proportions, alcohol and water are miscible with each other. So first three members are highly soluble or miscible with water, means methyl alcohol, ethyl alcohol and propyl alcohol. So after that what happened? In case of methyl alcohol, one carbon is there in alkyl group. In case of ethyl alcohol, 2 carbons are there. In case of propyl alcohol, 3 carbons are there. After that 3 carbon atoms, means from 4th carbon onwards, because of increase in number of carbon atoms in alkyl group, as I mentioned that this alkyl group end is what we called hydrophobic end, and this OH end what we called hydrophilic end. With increase in number of carbon atoms in hydrophobic end, solubility relatively decreases. That means with increase, all alcohols are soluble in water, all alcohols are miscible in water, no doubt in that one. But solubility is more for first 3 alcohols, and from 4th carbon onwards From fourth carbon onwards, solubility gradually decreases. Now, first three members are highly soluble or highly miscible with water. Solubility in water decreases with increase in molecular weight. With increase in molecular weight, here alcohols, OH group remains same. Molecular weight increases because of increase in number of carbon atoms. Because of increase in number of carbon atoms, molecular weight increases. With increase in molecular weight, solubility, their solubility where in water, their solubility in water decreases. Of course, in non-polar solvents, they are miscible. Here we are discussing only in water. Okay, by default you need to consider in water. Whether I mentioned or not mentioned, by default you need to consider as solubility in water, right? Now, the solubility of these alcohols in water because of intermolecular hydrogen bond, because that is maximum, that is ultimate. So that's why I mentioned that. But in addition to that, another two, what are they? Dipole-dipole interactions also there, van der Waals forces by default exist. So obviously we need to mention larger one, the one which is strong force, that is nothing but intermolecular hydrogen bond. That's why, so solubility increases because of intermolecular hydrogen bond, solubility decreases because of hydrophobic end. That means solubility of alcohols governed by these two only. These two only. This intermolecular hydrogen bond is consistent. This intermolecular hydrogen bond is because of OH group and water OH group. This is clear. So this one is constant, whereas this one is going to vary. With increase in number of carbon atoms, hydrophobic end increases. Whenever hydrophobic end increases, what happens? Solubility decreases. But there is no scope in monohydric alcohols, hydrogen bonding increases like that. We cannot say that hydrogen bonding is consistent. Alright. So how water molecules and alcohol molecules are going to participate in hydrogen bonding? Have a look here. Water molecule HOH I am going to represent here. Oxygen acquires partial negative charge and hydrogens, both the hydrogen acquires partial positive charge. Being more electronegative, this one acquires partial negative charge. That means dipoles are created in water, as we know very well. When it comes here, alcohols, R group acquires partial positive charge, corresponding to that oxygen acquires partial negative charge. Here in alcohols, oxygen, the negative charge present upon oxygen not only because of hydrogen OH bond but also OR bond. Means this oxygen is going to pull this bond pair of electron towards itself. Simultaneously this one means from hydrogen also it is pulling electron towards itself. So here oxygen acquires negative charge and hydrogen, and this alkyl group acquires partial positive charges. Hydrogen bonding is nothing but a weak electrostatic force of attraction between partially positively charged hydrogen and a heteroatom. Heteroatom means the atom which is, hetero means two meanings are there. Hetero means a different. Here hetero means a different. How different? From the regular atoms. Like here heteroatom we can define in another way as the atom which is small in size, atom which possesses lone pair of electrons, atom which has high electronegativity, atom which has high electronegativity, atom which possesses lone pairs, atom which is small in size. All these three qualities are here with oxygen. That's why we can say oxygen is a heteroatom. Beyond of that, fluorine also heteroatom, and nitrogen also heteroatom. That's why oxygen containing hydrogen, fluorine containing hydrogen, nitrogen containing hydrogen generally participates in hydrogen bonding. So here, in between, the weak electrostatic force of attraction exists in between partially positively charged hydrogen and a heteroatom. This is what we call hydrogen bond. In other words, imprisonment of hydrogen in between two heteroatoms, in between two more electronegative atoms. Here, hydrogen was present in between two oxygen atoms. That's why hydrogen bonding exists. So strength of hydrogen bond mainly depending upon electronegativity of heteroatom. More the electronegativity of heteroatom, more the partial negative charge it acquires, and more the partial positive charge develops upon this hydrogen, then more the electrostatic force of attraction between these two. I am repeating once again. If heteroatom electronegativity increases, more the heteroatom electronegativity, more the negative charge developed upon that heteroatom. Simultaneously, the positive charge developed upon hydrogen also like that. So whenever positive and negative charges more and more developed because of difference in electronegativity of hydrogen and heteroatom, then in between these two, partial positive charge and partial negative charge, electrostatic force of attraction will be very high. That's why we can say a weak electrostatic force of attraction exists in between partially positively charged hydrogen and heteroatom. That one is very high here in alcohols. So alcohols, because of strong intermolecular hydrogen bonding with water molecules, they are completely miscible with water in all proportions. In addition to that, which forces are going to play role? Dipole-dipole interactions. Of course, when we consider this hydrogen bonding, because of these are much more influencing, that's why we are not going to consider that generally. Now, solubility of alcohols increases with branching. More and more the branching, hydrophobic end size or hydrophobic end volume gradually decreases. With increase in branching, hydrophobic end volume decreases, means the radius decreases. If it is straight chain, it occupies more area. Because of increase in branching, the area occupied by hydrophobic end decreases. Because of less hydrophobic end volume, obviously solubility increases. That means more the branching of alcohols, more the solubility. More the branching of alcohols, more the solubility. Next one, boiling point. Boiling point of alcohols increases with increase in number of carbon atoms. Boiling point of alcohols increases with increase in number of carbon atoms. More the number of carbon atoms, we know very well, more the number of carbon atoms, more the molecular weight, obviously more the boiling point. So boiling point mainly depends upon more the molecular weight. Molecular weight is directly proportional to boiling point. Size, more the size, generally more the boiling point. Because of more the size, more the intermolecular forces. Which forces here? Generally we need to consider van der Waals forces. So more the size, more the van der Waals forces, more the boiling point. That means more the molecular weight, more the boiling point. More the size, more the boiling point. Why more the size, more the boiling point? More the intermolecular forces, more the boiling point. That means boiling point influenced by three factors: molecular weight, molecular size and intermolecular forces. Intermolecular forces, just now we discussed that. What are the intermolecular forces here? Hydrogen bonding, then dipole-dipole interaction and obviously van der Waals forces. So here boiling point of alcohols increases with increase in number of carbon atoms. Because of with increase in number of carbon atoms, molecular weight increases. If you observe that experimental values, difference between two consecutive alcohols, in other words we can say homologous compounds. See here, CH3OH, C2H5OH, homologous compounds are nothing but compounds which belongs to same family, nothing but which are having same functional group, but differed by one CH2 group. Compounds which actually belongs to same family are compounds which are having same functional group, but the two compounds differed by one CH2. They are called homologous series, right? Homologous compounds. So here methyl alcohol and ethyl alcohol differed by one CH2, homologous. Ethyl alcohol, propyl alcohol differed by one CH2. Propyl alcohol, butyl alcohol, pentyl alcohol, all these are differed in between any two alcohols, difference is one CH2. And all these belongs to alcohol family and having functional group OH. So methyl alcohol boiling point 337.5 Kelvin and ethyl alcohol 351.3 Kelvin and propyl alcohol 370 Kelvin and butyl alcohol 391 Kelvin, pentyl alcohol 411 Kelvin. See here 337, 351, almost 14 Kelvin more, and 341, 370, 19 Kelvin and 21 Kelvin and 20 Kelvin. That means here around 18 to 20 Kelvin Of course, here 14 Kelvin difference, but except this one, remaining all are 18 to 20 Kelvin variation is there. That's why difference between any two consecutive alcohols in boiling point is 20 degrees Celsius or 20 Kelvin. Both are same. Difference only, na? Difference either degrees Celsius or Kelvin. Whatever it may be, it is remains 18 to 20 degrees Celsius. You wrote here Kelvin mentioned. No, either of these two same. Difference is 18 to 20, whether in degrees Celsius or Kelvin. Okay. That means it is very clear, with increase in number of carbon atoms, boiling point increases. With increase in number of carbon atoms, boiling point increases. And in homologous series, in between two successive series of homologous series of compounds, boiling point variation is 18 to 20. With increase in branching, let us consider 4 carbon containing alcohol. 4 carbon containing alcohol have N-butanol or 1-butanol, isobutanol, secondary butanol, tertiary butanol. 4 are there. I used to consider that 4. N-butanol or 1-butanol, isobutanol or 2-methyl 1-propanol. Isobutanol is 2-methyl 1-propanol. Secondary butanol, 2-butanol. Secondary butanol is nothing but 2-butanol. And tertiary butanol, 2-methyl 2-propanol, isobutanol 2-methyl 1-propanol, tertiary butanol 2-methyl 2-propanol. If you consider these 4 compounds, means all these consist only 4 carbon atoms. Earlier, different carbon atoms. There we make one general strategy, that is, with increasing number of carbon atoms, boiling point increases. Now, in this example, I used to consider all compounds consist only 4 carbons. So, N-butanol, isobutanol, and secondary butanol, tertiary butanol. If you observe, 391 N-butanol, because of large size, branching is not there. And isobutanol, 1-methyl branching is there. Its boiling point comes to 381 Kelvin. And secondary butanol, its boiling point comes to 372 Kelvin. And tertiary butanol, 356 Kelvin. So, simple here relation is, with increase in branching, boiling point decreases. With increase in branching, boiling point decreases. So, more the branching, obviously less the size or less the volume it occupies, and less the size, less the boiling point. Boiling point, again, I mentioned that depending upon 3 factors: molecular weight, size, and dipole interactions, right? Here, molecular weight is remains same, but size is going to vary. Because of decrease in size with increase in branching, boiling point decreases. That's why branching is inversely proportional to boiling point. Boiling point of alcohols are greater than alkenes, alkyl halides, ethers are having same molecular weight. Compared to alkanes, alkyl halides and ethers, which are having nearly same molecular weight, alcohol's boiling point is more. Why alcohol's boiling point is more? As we mentioned that same molecular weight, of course they are going to occupy same volume, because I used to consider same number of carbon atoms, like 4 carbon atom containing alcohol, 4 carbon atom containing alkane, 4 carbon atom containing alkyl halides, and 4 carbon containing ether I am going to consider, because of 4 carbon atoms, number of carbon atoms same and molecular weight nearly same. When molecular weight nearly same, obviously you have to say they are having nearly same boiling point, but I mentioned here alcohols have more boiling point than alkanes, alkyl halides and ethers. For that reason is, in alcohols, maybe means compared to remaining all 3, alcohols may have same molecular weight, alcohols may have same size, same volume, but alcohols, in addition to that, alcohols have another property, that is intermolecular hydrogen bonding, whereas alkanes, alkyl halides and ethers do not have any intermolecular hydrogen bonding. In ethers also do not have any intermolecular hydrogen bonding. Here in ethers and alcohols ROH, ethers ROR. Here looks like similar, instead of one hydrogen, one alkyl group is there, but in order to take part in hydrogen bonding here, hydrogen is not there. So why not there, sir? If you consider here methyl group, obviously hydrogen is there now, but this hydrogen is not attached to heteroatom. This hydrogen is not attached to more electronegative atom. Because of this hydrogen is attached to carbon, carbon containing hydrogens normally non-polar, they are covalent. Being covalent, what do you say here? Being covalent, what do you say? These are non-polar, and these hydrogens do not acquire any partial positive charge. When these hydrogens do not acquire any partial positive charge, obviously we cannot say hydrogen bonding exists. Because of hydrogen bonding basic definition, what I mentioned, that a weak electrostatic force of attraction in between partially positively charged hydrogen and the heteroatom. Maybe this oxygen acquires partial negative charge, but partially positively charged hydrogen is not there. That's why there is no intermolecular hydrogen bonding or intramolecular hydrogen bonding. Hydrogen bonding is not possible. Even in alkanes also, polarity is very less. In alkanes, polarity, almost alkanes are non-polar. Alkanes are non-polar. Alkyl halides, polarity is there, but polarity, alkyl halides CX bond polarity is not that much when compared to alcohol's bond polarity as OH and OC with respect to both sides. So there CX bond polarity, that is very less compared to this one. That's why boiling point of alcohols are very high. Beyond of all these, just like water of crystallization as CuSO4 5H2O, CaCl2 4H2O, MgCl2 6H2O. In general, we are going to say just like that, water of crystallization, alcohols also forms solid derivatives with metal compounds. Let us see here, copper sulfate, CuSO4 2CH3OH. Here CuSO4 2CH3OH means alcohol, methyl alcohol. Maybe it is ethyl alcohol. In such a case, we can write CuSO4 2C2H5OH. So actually, what force exists in between these two? Just like that, oxygen lone pair is going to donate to vacant orbital of metal, coordinate covalent bond. Just like in copper sulfate pentahydrate, 4 water molecules are surrounded around Cu2 plus, and 1 water molecule exists in hydrogen bonding, just like. So here water of crystallization, just like water of crystallization, alcohol of crystallization. So because of alcohol, all these exist. Normally copper sulfate, we know that is liquid. Copper sulfate is liquid. But when we are adding 2 moles of either methyl alcohol or ethyl alcohol, it converts into solid CuSO4 2CH3OH. If you are adding ethyl alcohol, CuSO4 2C2H5OH. That means by taking 2 alcohol molecules, copper sulfate exists as solid. Similar to that, calcium chloride, by taking 4 water molecules, in general exists as CaCl2 4H2O. There, instead of water molecule, if we are using methyl alcohol or ethyl alcohol, then you are getting crystals CaCl2 4CH3OH or CaCl2 4C2H5OH. As we know that magnesium chloride MgCl2 6H2O, that what we call the carnolite. So carnolite consists 6 water molecules, like there instead of 6 water molecules, we can also write methyl alcohol or ethyl alcohol. Then that formula will become MgCl2 6CH3OH, MgCl2 6C2H5OH. So just like water of crystallization, alcohol also going to participate to convert that liquids into solids. And you don't forget that one more concept here, anhydrous calcium chloride means CaCl2, anhydrous calcium chloride, CaCl2 without water, generally we can use it as a dehydrating agent. But for alcohol's dehydration, anhydrous CaCl2 we are not supposed to use, because if we are using anhydrous CaCl2, it not only picks up water molecule from alcohol, it also takes that alcohol molecules to form solids. That's why anhydrous CaCl2 we are not supposed to use as water dehydrating agent for alcohols. So dehydrating agent means generally we learned in previous session like concentrated sulfuric acid. Yes, concentrated sulfuric acid shall we use? No. We are not supposed to use concentrated sulfuric acid. Why, sir? Concentrated sulfuric acid is not dehydrating agent. Yes, it is dehydrating agent, but here in alcohol we are not supposed to use. What happens if you are using concentrated sulfuric acid as dehydrating agent? It will give either ethers or alkenes as products, means it involves in a chemical reaction. Similarly, concentrated H3PO4 also we are not supposed to use. Then which type of reagent we have to use for dehydration of alcohols? We'll discuss later in chemical properties.